Are those rights being violated by the WNBA? And at the very least, there's a portion of this that says maybe WNBA leadership should at least have to go sit in front of some people and answer some very uncomfortable questions.
Something historic just happened, something that could shake the very foundation of the WNBA. The Wall Street Journal, one of the most respected publications in the world, has published a report that many are calling a legal bombshell raising. A question that fans and insiders have been whispering about for months: is Caitlin Clark being subjected to civil rights violations on the court? This isn't about a few missed calls or hard fouls. It's about something much deeper: potential violations of federal workplace protections. With Clark at the center of the controversy, what's unfolding isn't just about basketball anymore. Behind the highlight reels and polished PR campaigns, the league's leadership is now facing accusations of neglecting their responsibility to ensure a safe and lawful work environment for their players, especially their brightest star. In any other professional setting, the right to a non-hostile workplace is protected by law. That applies not just in corporate offices, but also in the high-stakes world of professional sports. Yet game after game, Clark is being shoved, slammed to the floor, elbowed in mid-arfin.
Because Kathy Engelbert and Adam Silver, it seems to be nothing to see here. Please move along. Now, I've seen a lot of fans just come out and say, hey, they're assaulting her, it's battery, yada, yada, yada. And the WNBA has turned a blind eye to this treatment,
with little to no intervention from officials. The silence from league leadership has become impossible to ignore. Where is Commissioner Kathy Engelbert? Why hasn't NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, whose league has historically championed player safety, said anything? Because if this pattern continues, the implications won't just be physical. The very legitimacy of the WNBA could be at risk. Adding to the outrage is the glaring contradiction at play.
League's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Miss Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache.
The league is profiting immensely from Caitlin Clark's presence while failing to protect her. She's arguably the WNBA's most valuable player in a generation, bringing unprecedented attention, TV ratings, sold-out arenas, and a wave of new fans. And yet on the court, she's treated as expendable. That contradiction is sparking not only moral outrage, but also legal scrutiny. Some legal analysts are now warning that this goes beyond poor officiating or locker room politics. This could be a matter of civil or even criminal law. This controversy is exposing a harsh truth in a league that brands itself as a champion of equality, empowerment, and justice. Its silence on this issue is deafening. What Clark is enduring by any legal standard could be classified as a hostile work environment. And if what's happening to her were taking place in a corporate office or on a movie set, there would likely already be investigations, lawsuits, and national outcry. Instead, the WNBA is brushing it off as just part of the game. And that's the problem. Every night, fans are witnessing a pattern that's becoming impossible to ignore. Clark is being targeted. This isn't speculation, it's documented. Whether it's a blindside shove, a mid-air collision, or an intentional elbow to the ribs, the incidents are too frequent and too specific to be chalked up to chance. Yet officials continue to look the other way, and coaches remain silent. The result is an environment where abuse isn't penalized, it's normalized. Veteran journalist Sean McLean laid it out plainly. Clark is more than just a great player. She's the economic engine powering this new era of women's basketball. And the league's response? Silence. That's not just a failure of leadership, it's a betrayal. One that could have serious legal consequences if left unchecked. This is no longer about basketball strategy or sports rivalries. It's about the treatment of a young woman in a professional workplace. If the WNBA doesn't act, if it continues to allow its most high-profile player to be harassed without protection, then the next headlines might not be on ESPN, they could be read from the steps of a federal courthouse. Betrayal. And here's where the stakes go. Nuclear. Legal experts are now drawing serious parallels between what's happening to Caitlin Clark and workplace negligence. If the WNBA continues to ignore the repeated physical targeting of its most marketable star, they could soon be facing a civil rights lawsuit with the potential to shake the...
We're watching in front of our very eyes how differently these teams are treating the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark on the court. I mean, let's just be real. It's been much different. The level of physicality has very obviously ratcheted down.
Entire sports world. Imagine what that would mean. A legal case that forces league leadership to testify under oath on record about what they did or failed to do to protect her. This is no longer just about bruises or sore limbs. It's about accountability. While league executives smile for cameras and insist there's nothing wrong, fans are witnessing something far different. The moment Clark leaves the court, the game changes. The aggression vanishes. The elbows stop flying. The shoves disappear. What had resembled a steel cage match suddenly turns back into a basketball game.
Yet she routinely faces intentional hits, excessive fouling, and uncalled abuse while referees look away. Teammate Sophie Cunningham said what fans already know, quote, "The star player of the league is not being protected."
That shift alone tells a damning story. A story that validates what critics have been arguing all along. Violence isn't incidental, it's targeted. The contrast is blatant. When Clark is off the floor, the game calms down. No blindside hits, no airborne collisions, no cheap shots. What you see is the actual sport, not a battleground. That difference isn't subtle, it's a confession in plain sight. Multiple analysts have broken down game footage and landed on the same conclusion. When Clark is playing, something changes. Opponents ramp up the intensity, the physicality, and the unpunished fouls. This isn't about defensive pressure, it's sabotage. And the worst part is, the league is allowing it to happen. This isn't paranoia. It's backed by hard video evidence and the observations of coaches, players, analysts, and fans. When Caitlin Clark is on the floor, it's WWE. When she's not, it's basketball. And yet, WNBA officials still act like they don't see it. But if the physical style of play shifts so dramatically based on one player's presence, how can anyone argue this is fair competition? Money. The financials make it impossible to ignore what's at stake. Since Caitlin Clark's arrival, the WNBA has undergone a business transformation. League Pass subscriptions are up a staggering 366%. Engagement on league platforms has jumped 613%. Merchandise sales, up 601%. These aren't marginal improvements there. Seismic shifts. Clark isn't just a standout rookie. She's a brand that's lifting the entire league. But while she's boosting revenue, attendance, and global visibility, she's also being left exposed on the court. That's not just poor management, it's exploitation. Fans see what's happening. They see the hard fouls go uncalled. They see the games she's forced to miss. They see the excuses and the silence. And they're all asking the same question. How can the league benefit so much from Clark's presence, yet do so little to protect her? Even her own teammates are speaking out. Sophie Cunningham didn't mince words when she said the league's star player is not being protected. That speaks volumes. When players feel compelled to go public, it means the silence from leadership has become too heavy to bear. 3 injuries. 10 missed games. 1 all-star event skipped. Still no suspension handed down. The hits keep coming. Players dishing. The mout face no consequences. And meanwhile, medical professionals are starting to sound alarms. The kind of contact Clark is absorbing game after game isn't routine. It's dangerous. Just painful? No, it's dangerous. 1 wrong fall, 1 badly placed elbow, and Caitlin Clark's entire career could be over. Think about that. A once-in-a-generation athlete who has already transformed women's basketball could lose everything, not because of the game itself, but because a league refuses to enforce the most basic standards of player safety. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. Analysts have already highlighted multiple hits that came dangerously close to causing serious injury, or even spinal trauma. These aren't your run-of-the-mill fouls. They're violent, targeted, and potentially career-ending. And still, the referees let it go, over and over. Legal experts are now stating what many have suspected for weeks. This meets the legal definition of a hostile workplace: systematic targeting, unchecked physical abuse, verbal harassment, and a complete absence of meaningful